What's up, everybody? Welcome to another YouTube Hangout. Super excited to be here with a new friend, Michael Davidson. He is doing his MBA and is talking to people about how to monetize self-development content. Wanted to interview me, and I said, hey, that's great. How about we do it as a YouTube Hangout so you guys could learn as well? And Michael, welcome aboard, man.
Thank you.
Maybe just a quick intro for my audience of people watching, what you're all about, what you're doing, what you're hoping to gain from this, and then we'll get into the show.
Yeah, well, my name is Michael Davidson. I'm from Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada, as you may know. And basically, I did an MBA project on how to monetize self-development content. I realized there wasn't that much information on how to kind of one place for everything. There's tons of information out there, but from book authoring, having an agent, for example, public speaking, etc. So I started off on this research project. I reached out to my community, and Tuan Nguyen actually, he says, oh my God, yeah, you reached the right person. I got like the biggest people in Canada, so I'll hook you up. And I love Tuan. I met him actually over sushi. So, you know, his wife owns a sushi shop, Pico. And basically bumped into each other one day, and he was so positive, and we just kicked it off. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. Well, I'd love to see the results of your MBA. Maybe get maybe able to share that around a little bit. But before doing that, let's get to your questions and hopefully provide some value.
Yeah, perfect. So on some interviews you've done in the past, you mentioned AdSense from YouTube is not always the best source of income. And, you know, you got lucky with, you know, you're in the personal development industry. So there's a lot of, you know, it's higher paying than other industries, for example, for AdSense. But what have you found better? Because, you know, you have 100 million plus views. You mentioned there's other better ways to monetize self-development income. Is it book for you? Is it the book advancements? Is it the public speaking engagements? Is it networking and doing other things? Or, you know, what is the best way to monetize self-development income?
So I think it really depends on what people are good at. I think it really depends on what you want to focus your efforts on. So for me, I have the book. I have brand deals. I have speaking gigs. I have companies that want me to join their board of advisors or board of directors, and there you get, you know, a percentage of the company and fees for showing up. I've made angel investments in the companies and become an owner in there, and then helping kind of train and mentor the entrepreneurs. I like all those things, so that works for me. One of the entrepreneurs I've invested into, her name is Lily. She's starting her own personal development speaking business. She just came back from doing her first TED Talk over the weekend. She doesn't want to write a book. She doesn't like writing. Great. We won't write. She wants to focus on coaching. Perfect. I hate coaching. I don't want to be a coach. I could do coaching easily. Like I could turn that dial up on my channel overnight if I wanted to. I just don't want to do it. It's not the business I want to be in. It's what she likes to do. And so she can be a great coach and not have to write books. And so I think it's good to get a sense of what the options are that are out there, whether it's writing books or speaking gigs or any of that stuff. And maybe by reading your MBA dissertation, people get some other ideas on what they can do. Yeah. A lot of the ones that came to me, honestly, just came to me. My business model, if you're thinking about how do you kind of monetize being in the personal development industry, my business model and what I do is I kick up a lot of noise in my industry, and then people come to me. I am not the sales guy. I'm not going to be the guy, like if it was the goal to write a book, I'm not going to go knock on doors of publishers and say, hey, I'm Evan Carmichael, I have this idea for a book, and then try to sell that in. Yeah. I try to create a ton of noise in my space, and then people come to me with opportunities, and I see what I want to jump on. I never thought I wanted to write a book. An opportunity came to me to be able to go out and do it. I never thought I would be a speaker because I tell people to be entrepreneurs. I thought, what company is going to hire me to speak to their employees to say, go and be an entrepreneur? I felt like that would never work. The idea of joining a board of directors of a company and taking stock in their business never crossed my mind. And so a lot of these opportunities came because I create a lot of noise in my space. If you want to sell to entrepreneurs, if you want to understand the entrepreneurial market, I'm one of the best people in the world to work with because of everything that I've built up and the audience that I have. If you want to do almost anything else, I can't really help you. Like if you want to sell beauty products, I can give you some advice, but it's not what I know. It's not my niche, right? Consumer packaged goods is not what I'm an expert in. And so I think it's understanding what it is that you want to be great at, and going in on that. Like, I have these opportunities because I make 3 videos a day on my YouTube channel.
Yep.
It's taking action. It's not just, okay, I'm gonna be an author and one day I'm gonna write a book and slowly making that happen. No, it's like massive action on your plan. And for me, it's YouTube videos. For others, it may be something totally different. And a lot of results have come because of it.
Got it. Okay. And because there's some people that are having those types of thoughts where it's like, hey, look, I'm not Evan Carmichael. I don't have his team. I don't have the time. Do you think you'd be able to do this at the same rate if you were that banker? Like, before you go to work, running in the mornings, at lunchtime, you do your interviews, and at night, just doing the consolidation?
Well, listen, anybody who's in personal development, professional development, and is starting off with a mindset of scarcity and limitations probably shouldn't be in the area of personal development. Like,
yeah.
Evan Carmichael didn't have a team when Evan Carmichael got started.
Sure, yeah.
It was me doing it part-time.
Yeah.
And it's still part-time for me, and I have full-time members on my team who take over. But just like anything else, you start small and you build. Yeah. The first video that I did, you may look at my channel and like I've done 5,000 videos now. 1,000 of them aren't even public. It's a lot of content, and I sucked at the start. Like, go back and watch my videos. The content was decent, but my delivery sucked. I was nervous and I was shy and I wasn't comfortable in front of the camera. I'm an introvert by nature, which often doesn't show in my interviews, but I am. And so if you look at where I'm at now and then you start and you say, well, I can never do that. I'm in the middle of my phase, right? Like, I've been doing this for a number of years, right? Just like anybody else. You want to beat the next Tony Robbins. You can't look at Tony now and say, well, I can never get there. Like, Tony started with nothing, just like everybody else. And so the key is just finding the thing. For me, it was YouTube. I love making videos more than anything else. But you can have just as much success doing a podcast or being a writer. Like, there's a lot of different ways to win. I would just much rather do a video than anything else. And so I went all in on what I was good at.
Yeah, and I love your videos. They're super inspirational. They are. You know what? I've actually thought about doing it, but I never taken action to the level you did. And for similar reasons, it's more of the selfish, like wanting to learn more from different people. And, you've mentioned a bit about like having different friends around and having all these inspirational folks and looking at them. So I really do appreciate you putting the time out for everybody and yourself. It really makes a huge difference.
Thanks, man. And the first video, it took me over a day just to record one video, like the whole day.
Really?
And it still sucked, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's take after take after take. And because it looks good, like, you could look at a Tony Robbins video or one of mine or whoever that you look up to and say, man, that's a good video. And then Michael comes along and makes one and it sucks.
Yeah, sure.
Because what looks good, but you can't do it yet. It was just because you don't have the practice and experience yet. Doesn't mean that you can't do that one day. But when you first learn anything, you're going to suck at it, right? Like, any skill, you will suck. And you just get better and better and better. And so, my first videos would take me the whole day to make it. And the key thing is that I loved it. I want to get better. I want to do more and more and more and more. And so I think it's using those people who are ahead of you as a kick forward, not a kick down, to look at my channel or look at Tony or whoever it is that you look up to and say, like, look what can be done, and use that as inspiration, not, they're so far ahead of me, I can never get there, and use that as a kick down.
Got it. Okay. I got an interesting questions, which I heard you love. So I'm actually calling in from Montreal right now.
All right. I love interesting questions. Let's do it. What do you got?
So it's a little weird one, but so let's just imagine that Kanye West was in Toronto, and so, for some strange reason, you saved his life, and then he had to just like flee, into the remote areas of Toronto. Okay?
I saved his life.
You saved Kanye's life, and he said, "Hey, look, I need to get away from Toronto right now. There's some beef or whatever it is." Okay. And he just has the clothes on him right then and there. And you just take him to anywhere you want. It could be like, let's say, camping, or someone's, you call up a buddy and he has a nice cottage somewhere. What would you bring him for clothing, food, and anything that you think he would need for the next 3 days on one pair of clothing?
So that's interesting. For me, and this is part of leadership, it's reverse engineering the person. And so I would be looking at, what does he want, instead of assuming that I know. And I think if you're in the personal development field or a leader trying to build up your team, understanding his preferences, understanding like where we're going. If we're going camping, we may need warmer clothes than if we're going to, you know, a spa somewhere. But I think that's a really important lesson for anybody who's in personal development, because we come in with our own formulas. You know, like I have my one word formula, right? People, you have your own metrics, you have your own way of doing things, and it can be difficult to jump into a situation and a lot of times we'll just immediately know the solution or think we know the solution without doing enough listening first. And so for me, it would just be listening, you know, understanding where we're going, listening to what he needs, and then trying to feel that need and probably, you know, push a little bit more when I have a greater understanding. But to know now, I don't know, right? I got to go in and listen. I got to use my ears.
You're literally fleeing in the car, and you call your personal assistant and you look over to him and be like, hey, what do you need? What do you think you would need at least?
If I was thinking about what I would need, I would get my camera. What do I need? I need my camera. The clothes on my back are enough for 3 days. I can get by. I want to film this content.
Nice.
Kanye's on my wall. I don't know if you can see, like he's at the back part of my wall here. I feel like Kanye has a lot of greatness to share. He puts his foot in his mouth a lot sometimes, but I don't think he's done. I think a lot of people who've interviewed him haven't done a great job. And
yeah.
I think I could do a better job. I'd like to ask him some questions. And so if I had to bring one thing, I would bring my camera.
That makes sense.
I would bring a cameraman if I could, if you allowed me to bring a person. And I'd want to film the journey and film the discussions. I would prioritize the camera over clothing.
Okay. Okay.
I got to make content for my subscribers here.
Got it. Okay. And what would the ambiance be? Would it be like this ridiculous party that you have set up? Call your assistant, just be like, we need everyone here? Or would it be more of like a laid back, chill type of environment?
So if it was me alone without Kanye, I would definitely go more the laid back style. I'd be thinking, how do I get the best out of this guy? You know, what is it that I need to pull out the best material from him? I think I would go more chill, laid back. I think trying to set a calm, easy environment. If we're going camping by the campfire, something to make him feel more comfortable. I think that's the direction I would go, rather than over the top party. Because you know, you see different sides of people. Yeah. And for what I would want to get out of the interview, I want the more pensive, more thinking, more calm, strategic Kanye than the party boastful Kanye.
Got it. Okay, interesting. And Howard Schultz. Yeah, he's 64 now. You talked a bit about wanting to kind of meet him as well, and all that type of stuff. If you could have, like, let's say 6 to 9 or 12 months with him, and you could just follow him and learn from him, what time period would it be? Like, what age would it be, or what year would it be? Like, what kind of area of his life would you want to see in person, following around, getting free mentorship from him for like 6 to 12 months?
So my default is always like, right now, like, go, like, what day is it today? Immediately.
Yeah.
Let's go make that happen. I think if I had to think kind of more historically, obviously watching the launch of Starbucks would be amazing. I think at that, you know, if I could play around with my age too, be able to go younger and not have responsibilities and be able to like be around him 24/7, where now I have competing priorities. So if you said you get to go live with Howard Schultz by yourself for the next 12 months in his house, I probably wouldn't take it, because I have a wife and I have a son, and I love my life right now, that I don't think I want to take a break from it for a year to go do that, as much as it would probably benefit me. Maybe I would do like a month max. But I wouldn't take 6 months or a year. Yeah, but if I was 20, then I probably would, right? Like, just go off and do it and see what happens. So, but I would like if that opportunity came up, say, hey, let's go, let's do it. If I could do a month with Howard right now, I would take that. I would figure out a way to make it happen. I would bring my camera too and vlog all of that stuff. I got to make videos.
Yeah.
As long as I can make videos for you guys. I got back yesterday from Europe. And the first thing is like, okay, I got to review the videos. I got to make more videos. I got to make sure that we're creating the content because a lot of people, you know, rely on them and depend on them. So as long as I can bring my camera gear along and still continue to review and make videos, I'll be happy.
What was your favorite part in Europe?
What was my favorite part?
Yeah.
I think it was just showing my wife around. She hadn't been to London. She hadn't been to a lot of the places that we went to. And I'd been to some and I hadn't been to some. But being able to show her around was great. And see the look of kind of wonder and excitement on her face.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I don't know how many times I've been to London. It's a great city. I love London. But the first time you go, it's like, wow, this is amazing. You know, the first time you get out of the country, I don't know if you remember your first trip, wherever you went. I remember the first time I went to Europe, I was probably in high school-ish. Just everything was so different and so new and so amazing. And then you go back and you get used to it. It's still nice, but the vibe isn't as good. So being able to kind of see that on my wife's face, that was probably the highlight for me.
Got it. Okay. And you'll notice I'm asking some kind of different questions because you have so much interviews and so much content out there. I don't want to be boring you with the regular stuff that you've been answering so many times. You know what I mean?
Wherever you want to go, man, I'm good. I like the variety.
Okay, cool. So with McDonald's fries.
Okay. You've done your homework. You've done your research here, Michael.
What was the weirdest thing you've ever dipped a fry in?
What's the weirdest thing I ever dipped a fry in?
Yes. It could be related to
ice
a launch
cream,
or just
ice cream.
Okay. What kind of ice cream was it?
Usually if I'm having ice cream at McDonald's, it's vanilla. I think they only have vanilla. I don't know that they have other options. Do they have other options? I guess the
No, it's broken, right?
McFlurry or whatever. Actually, ice cream and fries are not that bad together.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've dipped a fry in something super weird. In Rotterdam, was it Rotterdam? I don't remember. No, it wasn't Rotterdam. One of the cities we went to, we just got back from, was they had French fries. They're famous for their French fries and dipping sauces. So we put them into, it was a honey mustard, it was a peanut sauce, which is really good. Mayonnaise and something else.
Oh man, yeah, Amsterdam has some amazing mayonnaises. Oh my goodness. So
I don't remember what it was, but it was good. Yeah. French fries have a special place in my heart because that's how I used to celebrate when in my first business, when we ever got a new customer or we had a win. We didn't have a lot of money, so we'd go to McDonald's and just get fries. Couldn't afford a whole meal, but just celebrated fries. But back then it was just ketchup, man. It's just fries and ketchup. That was how we celebrated.
A little sweet and salty, right?
That's it. It worked.
Awesome. Okay, and I want to circle around with you on. You and I are very similar in a sense around you like to be around positive things in general, and you like to squash negativity when you get it, right? Or when it's around you. And you just get amped up, right? You just start getting excited. So is there any time, whether it's with Nina or with somebody else, where you got super excited and it just completely backfired when someone's talking about something, let's say, negative?
So the question is, I got excited, but they got negative because of my excitement?
No. For example, someone's negative around you.
Yeah.
And you said you pretty much squash that negativity with just with excitement, right? So someone's talking about something.
Yeah.
And then you start getting super excited about something.
Sure.
Has it ever backfired?
Has it ever backfired? I guess like there's a couple scenarios that come out of it. You have the people who love it and then they see the different point of view and they want to carry forward. And then there's also the people who don't like it and see you as somebody who's crazy and they don't appreciate it, which is also fine. I just don't spend time around those people. If somebody comes out and is super negative about something and I'm trying to share a different perspective, if they don't appreciate that, then it'll be a pretty short conversation. Like I don't have an interest in trying to convince you that positivity is the way. I would rather, because it's also draining for me.
Yeah, got it.
It's draining to fight with somebody. I don't have an interest in you draining my energy for me to try to convince you of something that I know is right. I'd rather spend my time with people who are more positive. So I think the only backfire would be if I continue to try to push and push and push to prove that I was right, or to try to bring them more positivity. But I don't really, I get, you know, when I was younger, I would do that a lot. I don't know that I really do that much. If you are just not responding to my message, then it'll be a short conversation. I mean, it won't be a, you know, screw you and punch them or something. It'll be polite, and we just won't spend time together, and I'll move on to something else, and I'm sure they will too. Somebody who appreciates their negativity, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And when you were younger, you probably did try and prove them a bit, right? Positivity is the way. You mentioned earlier you might have done that. Was there like a kind of an actualization about like being righteous that like converted to, hey, look, I just don't have time for negativity anymore?
I think back to my comments on my YouTube channel. There were a lot of people who, I mean, most of the people are positive. I think we have one of the best communities on YouTube, period, with Believe Nation and the positivity that goes on there. But there's still people who are haters, or people who are negative, people who are doubters. And I would spend time. This happened mostly because I was responding to every single comment. Yeah. Before I had people on my team helping me, I would respond to every comment. Now we get like a couple hundred a day, so it's not me doing everything. And so when a negative comment came in, whether it was about me or about the content or somebody having a limited belief or whatever it was, I would address it. Yeah. And often it would lead to a back and forth. And often, you know, a couple of scenarios happen. One, I would bring them onto my side, like they would see the point, which is great. Sometimes they wouldn't, but I would keep the discussion going for everybody else who would watch that video, because I believed that there was value in the discussion, even if I couldn't change that person who had the hate. But for the people watching who might be thinking similar things, watching the back and forth could be educational. And we've had a lot of people come back and say, like a couple months later, they apologize for the comment, or they come back and they saw something positive, and they make a point to come back and leave a comment to say thank you or to apologize. So that's happened frequently. It's just not, there's the expression, the juice worth the squeeze, right? Like you have to squeeze an orange to get the juice out of it. So you get the juice, but is it worth that squeeze, the effort to put in to make it happen, to make the orange juice? And I just don't want to put in the effort anymore on one negative person where I might be able to turn them around. I'd rather be able to focus, because I could take that effort on 100 people who are already believing, who are already on a path that I align really easily with, and help all those people out instead of helping that one person. And so I don't want the energy drain. And I think when I moved away from doing every comment, and I had people on my team kind of help me with that process, then I could say, okay, listen, here are the questions, here are the types of comments that I want to see that you should bring to me, and ignore the others. Where I'm particularly, you know, if somebody's criticizing me or my message or a video, that's fine, as long as it's tasteful, as long as it's not just kind of over the top. But where I don't agree with is people who are kind of bashing each other, or bashing somebody on my team, or bashing a guest that I might have. You know, often we'll delete those comments, or even ban that person from being able to participate in our community, which you can do on YouTube. I like having a discussion, and I'm happy to have a debate. And like, if you disagree with something, let's talk about it. And maybe you'll convince me, or I'll convince you, or maybe we just have different perspectives, which is great, as long as we can have an honest conversation and not it kind of deteriorating into name calling and racial slurs and a whole bunch of super negativity.
Got it. Okay. And we got about 5 minutes left here. You talked a bit about how you want to affect 1 billion entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So imagine you were, you had like a utopia where you had, you know, unlimited renewable resources because of, let's say, solar panel, wind, all that type of stuff. And Tesla was huge and automated everything.
Okay.
50 years from now, if there was no need for entrepreneurs, it's just a paradise, what would you do with your time? Because there's no need for YouTube videos anymore.
I think there's always a need for entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Like, there's always problems that need to be solved. There's always opportunities out there. Whether YouTube is the answer, you know, in 150 years, it's not going to be YouTube. It'll be something else. It'll be VR, or some chip we're implanting in ourselves, or new robot eyes, or something. But I think there's always a need for entrepreneurs. I think entrepreneurs will solve all the world's major problems. And even if we're in utopia, like, I don't think, like, what is utopia? You know, I love the work that I do.
Yeah.
You know, I live in utopia, and I'm making utopia for the people around me. Utopia for me is not sitting on a beach.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Like, I don't want to sit on the beach all day, and I don't know, I can't do it. You know, somebody wrote to me on Facebook, say, hey, welcome back for your vacation. I hope you had a chance to chillax. And like, I don't chillax. I don't chillax. You know, I love my life. I want to live it stronger. And so utopia for me is doing what I'm doing. I think, you know, this question kind of reminds me of, what would you do if you had $1 billion, or what would you do if you have all the money in the world? You don't have to worry about it. I think whatever the answer to a question like that is like, you should already be doing it now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I would solve cancer. Okay, well, go solve cancer now. Like,
yeah, okay.
I think entrepreneurs are gonna, but in a small way, right? Like, again, if you have $1 billion, you can do a lot more to help solve cancer. But it doesn't mean you can't do anything right now. Like, if that's your thing, go start doing it right now.
Yeah.
I think entrepreneurs have the chance to create. And so what
I think I'm losing you. Can you still see me? You're frozen on your end.
There we go. I think we're back.
We are back. Love it.
We got disconnected there.
Yeah.
Got it. So does that answer the question?
It does. It does. Okay, I have a couple more questions here. Do you wear boxers or briefs?
A hybrid.
A hybrid. Okay, what brand?
Uniqlo.
Unique. Oh, okay. Uniqlo. There's some Raven fans out there for Uniqlo.
I like Uniqlo. I like some of their stuff.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. And if you had a legacy outside of your helping 1 billion entrepreneurs, what else would it be?
I think the default then is to family. You know, what the impact that I leave with my wife, with my son, him carrying on the tradition of just doing something impactful and meaningful in his life.
That's awesome, man. What I like about you is you're such a family guy, and you're so humble as well. So I really like that about you. You're not too cocky at all. So really appreciate that. It's pretty cool.
I think you need a mix. I think in general you need a mix. I think if I look at my YouTube channel as an example, I think I have a long ways to go. I think I could be doing a lot better. I think like the humbleness comes in there of like, I suck compared to what a lot of other people are doing, and I would need to, you know, work on myself to get better. Yeah. You know, at the same time, I think I have the best YouTube channel on the planet. Like, I think my channel, like, I think I'm going to win a Nobel Peace Prize for my channel. I think it's the best thing available. So it's the balance, you know, I guess it depends on what the context of the question is, but I think that balance is good to have. I think you need a little bit of boldness and a little bit of ego to help you kind of get to where you need to go, to push faster and push harder. But I think you also need humbleness to realize that, you know, in the grand scheme of things, you suck right now and you need to get better.
I love it. Well, that's a good area to end the call. Thank you so much for your time. I know my questions weren't around the typical ones that you normally get that I listened to already, but I want to thank you so much for your time.
Be proud of that, man. Be proud of having questions that aren't the typical ones. I like that. That's great. I
have one more. So that person that died on your, that passed away, the Bank of America, the name slips me off the top of my head. He's on your wall right now. What's his name again?
AP Giannini.
AP Giannini, that's the one. Okay, so last question. If you could kind of be like the Christmas ghost and just appear at any time his whole lifetime for 2 minutes only and observe a moment in time, what would it be? There's 2 minutes only, just like could be more maybe, but
of his a time with him.
Yeah, you could be any. It doesn't nothing affecting your family or anything like that. Just you could appear magically as a ghost anytime at any age and just listen to a 2-minute kind of historical moment. When would that be?
This is interesting because this is like the third or fourth hypothetical question that you've asked me, and I don't live in a hypothetical world. You know, I don't think about this stuff at all, like zero. So it's interesting to get like so many coming in at the same time. I would pick one of two moments with him. One, when there was a huge earthquake in California and you know, tore apart all the buildings. He went to his bank and set up two barrels and a plank of wood, and just started lending money to people based off of a handshake and a look in their eye. Which, if you can imagine a banker like ever giving somebody a loan based off a look in their eye. He would judge a man by how many calluses he had on his hand, like it means he was hardworking. Yeah. So I would love to spend 2 minutes just watching him in that moment. And the other is Walt Disney. He funded Walt Disney when everybody thought Walt Disney was a crazy guy, wanting to make a full-length cartoon. Like, who's going to watch a full-length cartoon, a movie-length cartoon? Cartoons were like these 2 or 3 minute shorts. Nobody's going to watch a cartoon for an hour and a half. Wow. And so A.P. Giannini was the guy who gave him the money to do it. And so, like, watching Walt Disney pitch A.P. Giannini, I want to be in that meeting for 2 minutes to see that happen. Those would be one of those two choices I'd have to go with.
Okay, and just a question on top of that. So, when he was giving out that money, if you had any doubt or if anything after the earthquake, was there anything you would say to him, just whisper in his ear, like his subconscious, like maybe, you know, yeah, I'll let you answer it. I have some ideas, but
be like, believe.
Yeah, you're one word out now, guys.
That's what I would whisper. Yeah. That's what I would whisper.
Love it, man.
Cool. Hey, I want to see a copy of your dissertation, dude. I want to see all these options that you're coming up with and maybe give it some love as well.
Yeah, I got about a 30-page paper I'll send to your email. I just got to touch it up so it's a little more client-facing or less about an MBA report, but I'll send that over.
Look forward to it.
And yes, Twan says hi, by the way.
All right. Hi back to Twan.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I love Michael. Thank you guys for watching. Continue to believe. And we'll see you soon.